Alright, here it is Saturday morning. I got out here early because it's going to be hot today. Hadn't had a chance to work on the axle, as you can see yet. Hopefully this weekend. But I went ahead and, with the axle, I got somebody helping me. They're helping me with the U-joints and stuff. You know, I haven't never really messed with them, but once or twice ever, and the ones I did, I broke taking them out, and I really want to try to use these. So in case you hadn't seen the other video, you know, I talked about saving them and stuff. That's why I haven't done it. You know, if I was good at it, I would do it myself. So got a friend, I'm waiting on him to have time to help me press the old U-joints out and press them back in for me on the new axles there, so I can start putting this front end back together. But in the meantime, I got other projects, so hey, I don't like to just sit around and do nothing. So what's going on here is I've got numerous oil leaks from over the years that they've been minor, and then they got worse and worse and worse, and it became more than just one. So finally, you know, put her down. I'm just trying to take care of a lot of things at one time. AC compressor just went out. I've been putting 134A in it for the last 5 years, I think, a can here and there, and it got worse where I was doing 5 and 6 cans a summer. But it finally, I guess, locked up on me, the compressor. It's blowing fuses or whatever. Every time I put them in, it pops another fuse again. So I actually pulled it out a little earlier, pulled the clutch off the front of it, and I can see where it's been rubbing and stuff too. So I guess it's just wore out. It's not locked up, but it is making a little bit of bearing noise, I guess. And then, like I said, it looks like it's got some wear on it. So I'm debating, do I want to rebuild the clutch on it and use the compressor and clean it really good? I don't really know yet. Since I'm doing all that, I'm going to put a new dryer on it, so I pulled that out earlier. And of course, the condenser up here on the front of the radiator. I would just prefer, while I'm doing all this, I don't know what could have happened. Like I said, I might just go ahead and replace the compressor completely. But you know, it's a 16-year-old truck. The condenser here runs about anywhere between 50 and 100 bucks, somewhere around that range. Depends on what. Yeah, for me, it's a condenser. What, you know, it's not an electronic part or something, as long as it don't leak and seals. So I'm just buying a new one of these, a new dryer back here, and either rebuild the compressor or not, I don't know, so I can get my AC back going. Because living here in the South, it gets pretty hot, but it's not just the heat. For me, I can deal with some heat. It's the humidity. I sweat like a hog, to be honest, and that humidity tears me up. The other issue I had was, for the last 7 or 8 years, the power steering pump's been leaking. I guess where it goes into the vacuum pump there, leaking somewhere. I don't know honestly where, because it's just always been so nasty. I've added a little bit of fluid here and there, and it's kind of kept me going. It's gotten worse though. When I say worse, it's still not horrible, but maybe a half a quart every 2 weeks or something. So it's not like it's pouring out. When I tore this apart, my catch can here, you can still see I got the vent part. The hose comes down, the catch can went down here. I actually, when I took it out, found out that the bottom of the catch can was cracked pretty good. I mean, it had a gap in it. So it's just blowing out. Whatever's blowing out into that catch can is just blowing out all over the front of this motor, obviously. Is that where all my oil's coming from? I don't know, because if I'm blowing that much oil out, we got problems. That's what I'm thinking. So what I want to do with this anyways, I'm going to buy an aftermarket catch can. I found one. And, well, I'm going to possibly buy an aftermarket one, or I'm just going to reroute this and go down the frame and route it somewhere back there, that if it blows anything out, it's back there, not all over the front of my motor. And hopefully it's not going to blow out as much, being a longer tube and stuff. Like I said, that's kind of least of my worries at this moment. I'm still working on that. Transmission cooler lines. I blew off a transmission cooler line about, I don't know, 8 months ago, year ago. It just blew off the front of this external transmission cooler here on the front. I doubled up on my clamps. I've been kind of leery of it ever since, to be honest with you. Also, you're blocking some of your radiator and all that up there too. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is run me an external cooler back behind my under my bed. I don't run a spare tire because I run these bigger wheels. So I'm thinking about mounting it back there with a fan on it and going that route. I don't do heavy towing. Very seldom. I don't live in the Rockies. It's elevation varies here up and down a little bit, but when I say varies, it's, you know, you might climb a hill's 100 feet or something here and there. And when I tow, it's mainly a car or something, and I'm not towing it 200, 300 miles normally. It's just usually local stuff, 25, 30 miles. You know, every once in a while I might do it, but I still don't see it being an issue if I put a big enough external cooler back there with the fan on it. I'm not towing 20,000 pounds. I mean, a car, you know, even if I tow one of these 7,000 pounds trailer, 2,000 pounds something, you know, maybe 10,000 pounds max, maybe is what I'm towing. My harmonic balancer was just caked. I mean, it was just caked. It was unbelievable how much was up inside of here from that oil coming all over this. And I just kept scraping it out. You can actually see some particles back there still where I need to wash it out more back there. The whole front of this was just caked. You can see how I done it. My fan, well, I can't really get it to do it now, but seemed like it had some play in it. I don't know. It may not. I'm debating to go on electric fans. I've heard all kind of debates about that. Some guys say they've run them and no issues. I don't do a lot of towing again. Mainly this is an everyday ride, and occasionally, every now and then I tow a vehicle. Every now and then. It's not an everyday weekend thing, you know. I used to pull a camper sometimes. I don't own a camper no more. So I don't see it being a big issue to run electric fans, especially I'm not up and down mountains all the time. We go to the mountains maybe 3 times a year or so. 5,000 feet elevation. You know, I'm not up in the Rockies maybe where I'm sure it's a lot higher or anything, and I'm not pulling the hills just non-stop or anything going through them. I don't really see me being too big of an issue with that. So right now my main project though is replacing this AC condenser stuff. I'm gonna end up, not today because I'm about wrapped up. I got to do some running around town and stuff. Pull this power steering off. Hopefully I haven't cracked that vacuum housing. A friend of mine's uncle, his was actually cracked. He was pouring oil too, and he I don't see it cracked, but he went to go change it. When he did, it kind of fell apart on him. I'm hoping mine ain't, because those are kind of expensive from what I've seen. I haven't really looked around a lot, but the ones I've seen are expensive. That's my 2 main concerns of why I went ahead and just pulled this whole front end off like this, to make it easier to get up here and clean all this and get to it. Now, you can see my radiator over there. I've already somewhat cleaned it. Honestly, you know, not with a pressure wash or anything, but with some grease lightning that I had and tried squirting off with a water hose, but after 16 years of caking. But you can see how that oil is just caked up on there. So it's obvious this thing cannot be cooling as good as it should with all that on there, and the dirt that I washed off, because it was caked with dirt, just piled up. I'm debating if I want to flush this radiator and reuse it. It's never leaked or anything. It is an original though. But you know how when you go to aftermarkets, sometimes they just don't seem to last like a factory part. Obviously I don't want to spend $400 on a factory radiator or anything. But I've looked at a few aftermarkets. I don't know if I just want to have this one cleaned and flushed really good. You can see where I had some puking with the turbo at some point in time. I'm going to try to clean that a little bit, but I'm not pushing 600-700 horses. This thing doesn't have any leaks that I know of. I haven't seen any pressure drops or anything on my gauge. I'm going to keep using this thing for now instead of forking over, you know, $500-600 or whatever on an aftermarket one. So right now, this is what I got going on my project. Turbo. Was looking at that after I pulled the housing off. You know, I built this turbo about 1.5 years ago or so. First one I'd ever done. I had several issues with it. Didn't know what I was doing, honestly. You know, I mean, I was figuring it out as I go, I guess you would say. And I did figure it out, but it was puking a lot of oil and stuff. I found out I had one of my rings up here that's supposed to be turned up. The gap, I had it down. So I guess that was causing it to leak a lot up in here in this housing. Well, then I took and went back sometime later after running it maybe for about 6-7 months, and I found a good deal on a HX40 compressor housing and wheel. Pretty much brand new looking. It might have been brand new. The guy was going to do an import deal, and then he changed his mind. So I modded my housing out here for it to fit in there, and of course you can see it's not perfect, no, but I did it with a little grinding wheel and took my time and marked it out and made sure I didn't have no rubbing or anything like that. But I do have some shaft play in here. It's probably hard to see on your, get you a reference point there, but you can see it moving some. I mean, it's not bad. There it goes. But I think it's more than it should be. And you know what? I've already got all this tore apart. So I'm going to go ahead and probably just tear this apart while I'm at it and put a $50 rebuild kit back in it again. Just, it's 50 bucks, you know, be done with it. Instead of this thing flying apart on me, you know, 3 months later after I get it going back down the road or something. I do turn it up pretty hard at times. So, focusing here. Got a lot of cleaning up to do. Went to get my pressure washer out. I've kind of done this with a water hose and scraping stuff, but my nozzle's broke, so I'm gonna have to buy a new one of them. That's kind of what I got going on right now, y'all. I just want to keep you in the loop here. Got any questions about what I'm doing? Why is what? I don't know. An input in, you know, something I thought I was thinking I might go do, and maybe you're putting in a suggestion why you wouldn't do it, or what you would buy, or whatever. Yeah, I'm not money pockets. I do what I can a little bit at a time. This is just a project that's been needing done for a long time, and I've just planned on trying to get mainly the basics at least done. You know, it depends on how far my money goes. AC, power steering, main thing. Put the radiator stuff back in if I got to do it, and pull it back out later if I got to, but I'd rather try to do it all at one time. Gotta put some new hoses on it. Let me show you them. So if you haven't ever done your hoses, or it's been a super long time, and my stuff's just a mess. I gotta clean it. But if you haven't done your hoses, I'm trying to find my hose here. Right here. If you haven't done your hoses ever, these are my original hoses. They haven't never blowed out or anything, never no issue. So I've never done them, but I have changed the fluid in it. So I changed antifreeze in it maybe about a year or so ago, and then I don't know before that, but if you look up in there, that is a stinking mess. I mean, look how corroded that coil is, but even the rubber itself, just flakes are coming out of it. So you can see it in here. Look at how it's all corroded up on the inside. That's awful, ain't it? Trying to get it there. You can see where some of it's come off, some of it hadn't while I've been messing with it. So I actually took the water hose and ran up in there, and I mean, I saw more coming out. Let's see here. You can see there's really nothing on there. Look at that. That's bad. So I'm replacing these hoses. You know, plus for what they cost. I do have a trip coming up here as soon as I get this thing back going in July. I don't want to blow a hose out, you know, after doing all this. And that's another reason why I'm thinking about doing that radiator, because you've seen that coming out, what's possibly in that radiator. That's it for now, guys. I'm working on this off and on, you know, not every day, but every few days or something. Whenever I get time, I do work a full-time job, and I'm tired sometimes in the afternoons. It's been raining a lot here, so I haven't done a lot. So I'll try to just keep y'all updated what I got going on. Unfortunately, I don't have a pod or anything like that, a stand that I can put my stuff on. I'm using my phone. I'm not a professional YouTuber, and this is something I'm just kind of messing around with a little bit, and just, I guess, kind of documenting some of my work here on my truck. Yeah, pretty much I do some work, film it, and kind of show y'all where I'm at with it, and talk about maybe some of my issues I've had or whatever deal. Something else I got going on here, I'll tell you a little bit about that in case you've seen it. So when I bought this compressor housing to put on here, didn't really pay no attention, but it was a non-wastegated housing. So of course my exhaust side is. So basically I just got it wired with a spring load on it, and I've played with the pressures and stuff, and it runs close to around what I'm okay with, you know, without having a really nice setup deal. And I guess I've run it like that for the past 8 months or a year maybe, and it keeps it around about 26, 28 pounds of boost, somewhere right around in there. But I do have plans, and that was why I was messing with the turbo anyway, of building my own custom setup. I'm gonna build a bracket off of something somewhere. I haven't figured out exactly where yet. And then if you've ever seen them, they are spring-loaded wastegates, I guess, where you basically just have a shaft with a spring and a nut deal, and depending on how much you tighten that nut deal down is where it sets it at. I'm probably going to do that. It's a cheap, easy setup. I've been running this, which is basically something kind of similar, and it works, so I'm probably going to do that. Different strokes, different folks, y'all. You know, you might like it, you might not like it. You know, it's not your truck. I watch lots of videos on here, and I see lots of other things people do and go, that's stupid, or why do you do that? Why don't you do that? If you're going to make a comment, you know, how about, you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah, if it's, I guess, can't say something nice, don't say nothing nice at all. Don't say nothing at all, deal. You know what I'm saying. I'm open for criticism, but you know, it hopefully good stuff, not no negative stuff. Anything else real quick here? I might redo my apps, I don't know. I had started having a little bit of issues out of this. Over the years I have, but I run an external ground on it. That fixed a lot. Pulled the ground wire away from the hot side and everything here. It's hard to tell now, but it fixed it a lot, but it's starting to cut in and out. It just once in a blue moon, but that's something I might do after I get it all back together. Until next time, you know, again, if y'all got some good comments or anything, you know, suggestions, whatever, I'm open for it. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks.